Hello students. So what we are discussing? We are discussing Bohr's atomic model. Bohr's atomic model. Okay. So up to the last lecture, we have discussed the entire points of this Bohr's atomic model. Okay. So one of the point what I wanted to discuss is that consider an electron if an electron is excited. So what is excited? Excited to excited to n orbital. Then it is easy to determine, or there is a formula to determine the number of spectral line obtained when an electron from an nth orbital is come to its down state. Okay, so if it is excited to nth orbital and moves to ground state, the number of spectral lines obtained is given by an equation. Number of lines, number of spectral lines. So it is given line spectrum. Number of spectral lines is equal to n into bracket n minus 1 divided by 2. So this is the formula to determine the number of spectral line obtained when an electron is excited to nth orbit, okay, from its ground state, and while coming back to its ground state, how many spectral lines are obtained. तो क्या है कि एक इलेक्ट्रॉन है जो अपने ग्राउंड स्टेट से कोई भी एक nth ऑर्बिटल में जा रहा है और उधर से वापस आते टाइम वो कितने पॉसिबल वे से आएगा पता नहीं है, लेकिन कितने लाइन मिल सकते हैं, इसके लिए हम फॉर्मूला लिख सकते हैं. जो फॉर्मूला ऐसा है. फॉर एग्जांपल कंसीडर करो कि n इज इक्वल टू 5 है, मतलब फिफ्थ ऑर्बिट में फिफ्थ एनर्जी स्टेट में इलेक्ट्रॉन मूव हो रहा है. तो इसके लिए अगर आप चाहते हैं कि कितने स्पेक्ट्रल लाइन मिलेगी, फिफ्थ से आता है, डाउन आता है, तो ग्राउंड स्टेट को आता है, तो ये हम कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. सो 5 into bracket 5 minus 1 divided by 2. So this will become 20 divided by 2. This is 0 10. So for electron which is moving from fifth to ground state, okay, there is a possibility to get 10 lines. Okay, so these are some advantages of Bohr's theory. That Bohr's theory is capable to explain the spectral evidences, or it is capable to explain the line spectra completely. Okay, line spectra of hydrogen atom. This is also for hydrogen atom. Okay, but this Bohr theory has some drawbacks. Okay, this theory is not actually completed because Bohr's theory is applicable only for hydrogen atom, okay, and hydrogen like atom. So we will discuss some of the drawbacks of Bohr's theory, and then we will move for the next point. So our next point is drawbacks of Bohr's atomic model. Drawbacks or limitations. Drawbacks of limitations. So first one is what I am saying, and now I am saying that this theory explains the line spectra of hydrogen atom completely. Okay, but this theory is not applicable for all other elements. Okay, so the atomic spectra, the spectra of atoms containing more than one electron, the theory could not explain or cannot explain, could not explain spectra of atom having more than one इलेक्ट्रॉन. सो एक से ज्यादा जिसमें इलेक्ट्रॉन है, एक इलेक्ट्रॉन सिस्टम के लिए बोस एटॉमिक थ्योरी या फिर बोस एटॉमिक मॉडल इज परफेक्ट. बट अगर एक से ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रॉन आ जाता है कोई एटम में, तो उधर क्या नहीं हो सकता कि ये थ्योरी उस एटम का स्पेक्ट्रा एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर सकती है. ओके, देन this theory could not explain the presence of multiple spectral lines. Why multiple spectral lines are obtained? Theory could not explain the multiple spectral lines. So why number of lines are obtained? Okay, that is not given. The information regarding that, okay, the information regarding the multiple spectral line is not given by the Bose theory. Okay, then this theory could not explain the splitting of spectral lines. Okay, this theory could not explain splitting of spectral line in the magnetic field. Okay, so this theory could not explain the splitting of spectral lines in magnetic field. So whenever we introduce a magnetic field to spectral lines, magnetic field, अगर आप मैग्नेटिक फील्ड अप्लाई करते हो स्पेक्ट्रल लाइन को, तो वो जो लाइन्स है वो स्प्लिट हो जाती है, एक से ज्यादा में स्प्लिट हो जाती है. वो स्प्लिटिंग क्यों हो रहा है, ये उसका रीजन ये बोर थ्योरी जो है, वो बोस एटॉमिक मॉडल जो है वो नहीं दे सका. ठीक है, तो क्या है देखो, द स्प्लिटिंग ऑफ spectral lines in magnetic field. Magnetic field is called Zeeman effect. अगर किसी स्पेक्ट्रल लाइन जो मिल रही है उसको आप अगर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लगा देते हैं, तो फिर वो स्पेक्ट्रा जो है मैग्नेटिक फील्ड से पास करते हैं, तो उसमें क्या होता है, स्प्लिटिंग होता है, लाइन स्प्लिट स्पेक्ट्रा और ज्यादा लाइन में स्प्लिट हो जाता है या फिर और ज्यादा उसका स्प्लिटिंग हो जाता है। और ये मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में जो स्प्लिटिंग होता है उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, जीमन इफेक्ट बोलते हैं। इसको क्या बोला जाता है, जीमन इफेक्ट बोलते हैं। और एक इफेक्ट है the splitting of spectral lines in electric field is called Stark effect. It's called as Stark effect. That is called as Stark effect, and this Stark effect is not also explained by Bohr's theory. So what we can write, this theory could not explain the splitting of spectral line in magnetic and electric field. तो ये थियरी ने क्या नहीं बताया कि लाइन स्पेक्ट्रा को अगर आप मैग्नेटिक या फिर इलेक्ट्रिकल फील्ड अप्लाई करते हो तो वो लाइन स्पेक्ट्रा और ज्यादा लाइंस में स्प्लिट हो जाता है, 2 के 4 के 1 का 2, 1 का 3, 1 का 4, ऐसा जो स्प्लिटिंग है वो स्प्लिटिंग क्यों हो रहा है, इसका रीजन बोह्स थ्योरी नहीं दे सकती। और वो स्पेक्ट्रा का जो स्प्लिटिंग है, स्पेक्ट्रल लाइन का जो स्प्लिटिंग है इन केस ऑफ मैग्नेटिक फील्ड उसको हम जीमन इफेक्ट बोलते हैं, और इन केस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड इसको हम स्टार्क इफेक्ट बोलते हैं। तो ये स्टार्क इफेक्ट और जीमन इफेक्ट बोह्स एटॉमिक मॉडल एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर सका। दिस theory cannot explain the magnitude of or intensity of spectral light. This theory is not capable to explain the intensity of spectral lights. Then the fourth one, this theory was unable to explain dual nature of matter. Unable to explain the dual nature of matter. So matter, as like light, the matter has wave nature and particle nature. This is given by D. Bourgeois suggested that in his theory he explained that the microscopic bodies have dual nature. As light has dual nature. It has the nature of wave also, and it has the nature of particle also. So this dual nature, as like light, the electrons of the microscopic system has this two types of nature, and that two type of nature of matter is not explained by Bohr's theory or Bohr's atomic model. This theory cannot explain the uncertainty principle and concept of quantization of energy. Concept of quantization of energy. So could not explain. So this theory is not giving information regarding quantization of energy. So why the energy of electron is quantized? That is not explained by Bohr's theory. So these are some points. So here you have to remember that what is Zeeman effect and what is Stark effect. And the points Okay, what are not explained by Bose theory or Bose atomic model. So क्या क्या बताया आपने कि the theory is not able to explain, okay, not able to explain the light spectra of elements having more than one electron. एक से ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रॉन जिस एलिमेंट के पास है उसका लाइन स्पेक्ट्रा इस थ्योरी ने एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया. दूसरी चीज कि मल्टीपल लाइन क्यों मिल रहे हैं स्पेक्ट्रा में, मल्टीपल लाइंस क्यों मिल रहे हैं, मतलब बार्बर सीरीज, पास्चन सीरीज, लेमन सीरीज, ब्रैकेट सीरीज, ईफन सीरीज करके हम बोल रहे हैं, स्टडी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उसमें वो जो मल्टीपल लाइंस मिल रहे हैं वो क्यों मिल रहे हैं, कितने लाइन मिलते हैं वो बता दिया है, लेकिन क्यों मिल रहे हैं उसका रीजन नहीं बता है. ओके, दिस theory is not capable to explain the Zeeman effect and Stark effect, that is splitting of spectral line in the magnetic and electrical field. This theory is unable to explain the dual nature of matter, which is explained by de Broglie, and the theory is not able to explain, it is unable to explain quantization of energy, why the energy of electron is quantized. So due to these reasons, okay, so these are some points where the Bose theory is failed, okay, for an atom which has more than one electron. Okay, तो एक से ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रॉन जिस सिस्टम में है, जिस एटम में, उसके लिए ये थ्योरी क्या होगी, फेल होगी. तो अभी फेलियर के बाद नया कुछ आना चाहिए. okay, तो इतना सारा अपनी बोस ने बता दिया है, तो उसके आगे जाके कुछ ना कुछ होगा और कुछ ना कुछ स्टडी हो जाएगा कि इधर फेलियर पॉइंट्स मिल रहे हैं, उसके लिए स्टडी किया जाए और एक नया मॉडल आएगा. तो नेक्स्ट मॉडल जो आ रहा है वो है बोस सोमरफेल्ड्स मॉडल. ये बोर्ड का ही मॉडल का कंटिन्यूएशन है. बोस सोमरफेल्ड मॉडल क्या बताता है कि the electrons around an atom, they are revolving in the elliptical orbit. What they are saying, electrons are revolving in elliptical orbits. So now they are, what they are saying, Bose Somerfeld, they are saying that circular path, okay, is not actually circular but it is elliptical. Okay, and circular path is a representation. Okay, the circular path is a special case of ellipse. Okay, circular path is a special case of ellipse. Okay, so they are saying that the electron is moving in the elliptical orbit in an atom. Now elliptical orbits and circular orbit, okay, when we compare these two, circular path and elliptical path, okay, so elliptical orbit gives information regarding the line spectra of an atom. Okay, line spectra of an atom, and then we have to study the Broglie theory. Okay, dual nature of matter, dual nature of electron, dual nature of electron. To understand, okay, to understand how the electrons are present in an atom, we have to study the dual nature of what, electron, and that is dual nature of matter. So de Broglie, okay, a French scientist, French physicist actually, he is a physics person. He suggested that light has what he suggested? He suggested that light has natures. One that is wave nature and another that is particle nature. Okay, it has a particle nature and it has a wave nature. So he explained that, he suggested that light has two natures. Okay, one is that is a particle, another one that is a wave. And like light, as like light, electron has dual nature. Electron has dual nature, and thus electron also behaves as a wave and particle. Wave and particle. So he suggested that as like light, the microscopic systems, microscopic particles are having wave as well as particle nature. Wave as well as particle nature. Okay. And this gives you, or this represents, okay, this presents a new wave mechanical theory of a matter. Okay, after this suggestion, okay, he introduced a new theory which is wave mechanical theory of a matter, and according to that theory, small particle like electron when in motion possesses wave properties. What he is saying, small particles like electron when in motion possesses wave nature. So now what we are saying, this is nucleus, this is a circular. Now we are, after both sum of it, we are saying that the circular is the what? Special case of elliptical path. Okay. Now as per Borgil theory, he is saying that electron is having particle nature as well as wave nature. So electron is revolving around the nucleus in the like this. Okay, so it has a particle. So one time it goes away from the nucleus, comes towards the nucleus, goes away from the nucleus. Why? Because it has a wave nature. It has what? Wave nature. Okay, and that's why what we are saying that electron is moving in this like this around the nucleus. So electrons are having both wave as well as particle nature. Okay, and the wavelength, according to de Broglie, the wavelength associated with the particle of mass m with moving with velocity v. So this is the first point. The second point, okay, the wavelength. So what will be the wavelength? Wavelength of the electron. The wavelength associated with a particle having mass m and velocity v is given by lambda is equal to h by mv. Okay, where h is Planck's constant, m is mass of electron, and v is what? Velocity of electron. So the wavelength associated with electron in an elliptical path, in the circular path, in an orbit is given by equation lambda is equal to h by mv. and this can be derived. Okay, so lambda is equal to h by mv can be derived. Okay, if this equation can be derived by using Planck's equation. Okay, by using Planck's equation. What is Planck's equation? Planck's equation. What is Planck's? E is equal to h nu. Correct? Energy associated with the radiation is given by Planck constant frequency. Now what we know that? We know that nu is equal to what it is, but nu is equal to c by lambda. We can put it in the equation easy. Okay, so this is equal to h by c upon lambda. H by c upon lambda. Or sorry, and the energy of photon, okay, on the basis of Einstein energy and mass relation, what we are saying that relationship Einstein equation E is equal to mc square. E is equal to what? mc square. Equating both equation, what we can write? Here is also E. This is Einstein equation. Einstein equation, and this is Planck's equation. Okay, now both has E, so we can equate. What we can equate? mc square is equal to hc by lambda. hc by lambda. Okay, or what we can write? Lambda is equal to h by mc. Okay, so this mc square down here, lambda goes here, the square get cancelled, c and square get cancelled, so h by mc. This we can derive from the equation. And what we know that? We know that mass into velocity is nothing but the momentum, and that's why what we can write h by p, where p is equal to mc, mass into velocity. Okay, momentum. Now the dual nature is experimentally verified by Davison and Kramer. Okay, by observing the diffraction effect. With an electron beam. Okay, diffraction, by studying the diffraction effect with an electron beam, the Davison and Kramer, okay, they observe this and they have given an equation. Okay, what it is? The kinetic energy of electron. Kinetic energy. Okay, what is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. Half mv square. In case of electron, it is eV. Where capital V is velocity of electron. Velocity of okay. Now what we can write from this equation? mv square is equal to 2ev. Correct? Or we can write m square v square is equal to 2ev m. 2ev m or mv is equal to square root of 2ev m. Okay, and by putting this value for mc, by putting this value for mc in the equation, what we can write, lambda is equal to h by square root of 2evm. Okay, where v is the potential of electron, e is the charge on electron, it is the mass. Okay, we can calculate the wavelength associated with electron, wavelength associated with an electron, okay, in an orbit, and this is experimentally determined by Davison and Graham. Now